based in Bangalore, India. He's heading one of the temples and an outreach center outskirts of Bangalore, and he's also one of the leaders in his corporate company which he's working in. We are also very fortunate to hear from him. We have heard from him pretty often the last year, but somehow by Krishna's grace we got an arrangement that he was available, and then we could take his association. It's very important that we hear from the Vaishnavas, especially on the Srimad Bhagavatam, because Bhagavatam is the cream of all the Vedas. So we will go over to Kripamaya Prabhu to hear on this verse on today's class. Over to Kripamaya Prabhu. Can you, Mataji, can someone search out his name and make him the spotlight? I'm not the co-host.
He's there.
Maybe Manjusha. There you go. Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Vishal Prabhu. I know you happen to be my elder brother. Still, I mean, you're pretty humble to say that I'm a senior devotee. It's tough to actually handle these kind of situations, but I still take it. Thank you, thank you. I mean, I'm very happy to actually be back because if I'm not wrong, exactly a year before, the first Sunday last year, 2021, I got an opportunity to actually get association of all of you. So again, the same thing. So I'm very happy to actually be associating with all of you remotely, staying in Bangalore and still being part of the reading group. Thank you, Prabhu. So I'll just start with a few minutes of Kirtan, Radha Madhav, and then get straight into the class. Okay. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Givaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Gopi Jana Vallabha Givaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Munatira Banachadi Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jayo Radha Madhav, Jayo Radha Madhav, Radha Madhav, Jayo Radha Madhav,
Jayo Radha
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Lord Ramanandi Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Thank you so much for joining the session. It's a new year, as Vishal Prabhu already said. It's a great year to start with. Hopefully, things will be better than the previous years. We'll be actually talking about this sloka. I'll try to share this sloka. It is from the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 3, in the matter of Krishna is the source of all incarnations, and specifically the verse 23. Maybe I'll share this for the benefit of all. So we'll read this. Maybe some of you can actually repeat if you want, but otherwise I'll just read it. Ekona vimshe vimshati me Vrishnishu prapya janmani Ramakrishna viti bhuvo
Ramakrishna Vituvo
Bhagavan Naharadharam.
Bhagavan Aharadharam.
Translation: in the 19th and 20th incarnations, the Lord advented himself as Lord Balarama and Lord Krishna in the family of Vrishni, the Edu dynasty, and by so doing, he removed the burden of the world. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The specific mention of the word Bhagavan in this text indicates that Balaram and Krishna are original forms of the Lord. This will be further explained later. Lord Krishna is not an incarnation of the Purusha, as we learned from the beginning of this chapter. He is directly the original personality of Godhead, and Balarama is the first plenary manifestation of the Lord. From Baladeva, the first phalanx of plenary expansions, Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Aniruddha, and Pradyumna expands. Lord Sri Krishna is Vasudeva and Baladeva is Sankarshana. Thus, in the Bhaktivedanta purport to the text 23 of chapter 3, first canto, in the matter of Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Om Agyanatimirandasya Jnanandjana Shalakaya Chakshurunitana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadandipam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Satjivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sargana Danita Sri Vishaka Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namoste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanuste Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Putale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasa Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this is a very interesting shloka because in this particular chapter you will find all the different incarnations of Lord Krishna coming, and in no words you will find this word Bhagavan used. Bhagavan means the supreme personality, personality of Godhead, and that's mentioned in the shloka. Although it's considered that the 19th and 20th incarnations, Avatara, is considered as Lord Balarama and Lord Krishna, you will find in the coming text, maybe in the later chapter of the 3rd chapter, you'll find there is this king of all shlokas in Bhagavatam. If somebody asks a question, what is one shloka that we should actually remember from Srimad Bhagavatam? There is only one shloka which is very, very important. That is the Ete Chamsa Kala Pumsha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So this is actually a very, very important shloka. Srila Rupa Goswami actually has commented a lot, and Jiva Goswami has given that as actually the main principal shloka of Bhagavatam. If somebody asks you a question, which shloka is most important in Bhagavatam, that is a shloka in Bhagavatam which is very, very important. And there are a lot of explanations. Probably we'll cover it later. But for this class, we'll actually focus only on this particular text. Now here, Krishna and Balarama actually appeared for a particular reason. What was the reason that they appeared? They appeared mainly for clearing out the burden of earth. Now, the question naturally will come, what is burden of earth? What does the earth consider as burden? And if you see, I was just Googling around yesterday night to check out what is the population in the world with all this pandemic around. Right? So they say it's around 7.9 billion people in the world, today's population. Is it whole population? Frankly speaking, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says the earth can hold unlimited people. There is no limit to the number of people that Mother Earth can actually support. So then what is this burden? Because the shloka says that Lord Krishna actually appeared to remove the burden of the world. Lord appeared for removing the burden of the world. Now, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, one of our previous acharyas, mentions that there are two kinds of burden. One is called the burden of beast, and another is called the burden of love. Burden of love means, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that earth considers someone who follows Krishna's instructions. If they are actually trying to follow or endeavoring to follow Krishna's instruction, that's called actually burden of love, because they are very dear to Krishna, and because they are dear to Krishna, Mother Earth loves them very much. And such kind of personalities that they in this world, they may not be pure devotees, but they are endeavoring to become pure devotees. Such personalities, they are not considered as actually burden for Earth. And Mother Earth actually considers them as burden of love. Just like a small child, even though actually it makes a lot of mistakes, it may actually even pass poop on mother's body, but still mother doesn't take it seriously, because I don't know about these days, but those days was like this is what I heard. Mother doesn't actually feel very disturbed, and then she is lovingly actually cleans the child and then takes child back in her arms, right? So that's considered as burden of love. Whereas the burden of beast, meaning those are notorious personalities who don't want to follow Krishna's instructions. Such kind of personality is called burden of earth, burden of beast, and earth does not like such people. And when such kind of people increase in this world, the earth becomes very disturbed. So many problems comes, and Mother Earth doesn't want to actually support people. There are a lot of disturbances in the world, famine, there's lack of water, lack of foodstuffs, people actually starve, and there's so much of commotion in the whole place, right? And Krishna comes to actually clean up this beast of burden, or burden of beast, burden of beast, so that when he's cleaned up everything, again, Mother Earth feels comfortable to support rest of the population. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that the earth can actually support 100 times more than what is the population today, because she can provide, because by Krishna's mercy she can do anything that is required. Now here, if you see Krishna as the Supreme Lord, from his childhood he was only killing, although he was doing his other pastimes of actually supporting his devotees, right? Krishna also mentioned the Bhagavad Gita, right? That Eda Eda Hi Dharmasya Glani Bhavati Bharata Abhyutanam Dharmasya Tadatmanam Shriyamiham Paritranaya Sadhanam Vinashayata Dushkatam. So both are there. He supports the devotees, gives them hope that there is actually a future life, and we actually can go back to Krishna. We can actually have an eternal life of bliss and knowledge. And he also actually destroys the miscreants who are actually lowest among mankind, who are actually not basically the burden of beast. He actually kills them. And you'll find that from the beginning of his life, whatever pastimes he actually performed, you'll find that he was actually killing so many Either it could be because he's Bhagavan. It's not that he'll actually kill only in one way. For example, the Leela avatar like Nrsimhadev or Vaman Dev would actually come and do a particular activity and then go back. But Krishna was not like that. Krishna actually did everything. He actually fought single one-on-one single combat. He was fighting with a full army, a complete army, or he could actually instigate the Pandavas and guide some other army to win a battle, or even otherwise, what is considered impossible. For example, a woman fighting with the whole army, like Satyabhama actually fought with Narakasura and then killed him. But it's all because of Krishna's mercy, right? So you'll find these kind of pastimes mentioned. Krishna was always killing from day one of his appearance in this world. And Kamsa being his uncle, they say that the uncle, the mother's brother, uncle is always very dear to his niece or a nephew. So they would actually send toys for them to play. And here Kamsa was telling demoniac toys, like all the Bakasura or the different kinds of form like Agasura. And these people, all the demons used to come to fight with Krishna. And Krishna thought, oh, my uncle is sending me toys. So he used to play with the toys and kill them or break the toys. Pretty interesting. The acharyas actually explain it in various ways, just to relish the pastimes of Krishna. They actually put a lot more, ingredients to this whole thing, or in simple words, masala into the whole thing. So it becomes very relishable. That's why the Bhagavatam, actually, if we hear from someone who's actually an expert, then it becomes very tasty. They say actually, if an ordinary person like me would go into the kitchen, we would actually, whatever I see, okay, I'll make khichdi, and then you just put everything in boil and take it. But if they were an expert cook who gets into the kitchen and see a lot of ingredients, they would put and then make maybe a chapan bowl, 56 items of tasty food, which can be offered to the Lord, right? So an expert Bhagavatam reciter who actually has lived in Bhagavatam, in the lifestyle, they can actually talk a lot, and it's very relishable. And that's exactly what Shukadeva Goswami is actually trying to give different aspects of Krishna's pastimes to all of us. Now, this Ete Chamsakala Pumsha shloka is a very important shloka. We'll cover it later. We'll not actually touch upon it, because there it's mentioned that although all these personalities are expanding from Krishna, but Krishna himself is actually the supreme original personality of Godhead. And because of that, everyone else, whatever happens, actually are even the Vishnu forms actually are servants of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So that whole thing is actually explained later in this verse, later in this chapter. Now, one pastime is actually very, very noteworthy, because Krishna does not indiscriminately kill anybody. He is very considerate. As long as we are devotees, and even as devotees, if we have to actually get involved in adharmic activity because of duty, Krishna does not kill such personalities. He would actually protect them, and he does that. If you see in this pastime of Jarasandha, it's a very, very interesting story to understand. Jarasandha is one of the demoniac kings, and in those days, there were so many demoniac kings, and they collected vast amount of armies. Just created armies, so much of army. You will find the description in the Bhagavatam and also in the Mahabharata about what was the size of the armies. I mean, there is nothing comparison with what numbers given here are. I was just actually trying to understand what is the kind of army that we are looking at. Because in the Mahabharata itself, you'll find the Pandavas and Kauravas fought. The Pandavas actually had 7 Akshohinis, and the Kauravas had 11 Akshohinis. So what is this Akshohini? It's actually a way of calculating the number of army strength. What is the army strength that they have, right? So they try to actually calculate it. Just for numbers sake, I just noted it down. It says that there were about 21,870 chariots. Imagine a chariot with the charioteer and the person who's standing on the chariot to fight. Right? It's a big number. So the place should be huge to actually have so many chariots, but that's one of them. Plus, there should be 21,870 elephants with the mahut as well as the fighter, right? And then 109,350. That is 109,350 infantry. That is your foot soldiers, and then or horse soldiers. Sorry. So then the 65,610 cavalry. So this all together is called one Akshohini, right? this 7 of such Akshonis were there with Pandavas and 11 with Kauravas, right? And they fought in the Mahabharata. That is 18 Akshonis. But Jarasandha fought with Krishna 17 times. He attacked Mathura, that is to fight with Krishna. Every time he bought a minimum of 20 Akshonis alone. And Krishna actually used to fight with all these soldiers, and all of them are killed. First time when actually Jarasandha came and he saw Krishna actually there with the Yadava army, only Balaram and Krishna were there, and some of the army, some people were there, but nothing to compare with 20 Akshonis of fighters, right? But when Jarasandha saw Krishna, he said, I don't want to fight with you. He was humiliating Krishna so much, and Balaram was becoming angry, and Krishna remained silent. He said, you are such a fellow that you killed your own uncle, maternal uncle, and you actually were not even a Kshatriya. You were actually born with Vaishyas. Vaishya means Gupta. They say, Prabhupada mentions that Gupta means someone who's hidden or kind of a secret. He was actually scared that somebody will come and then kill him. So you are hidden. No one could actually really understand you. So you're very hidden. Because of that, I don't feel like actually comfortable to fight with you, because I'm a great fighter, and fighting with such kind of people like you doesn't make sense. So he was trying to humiliate, and Balarama was becoming more and more angry. But Krishna had a higher plan, because Jarasandha and his demoniac minister actually had a peculiar quality of finding out all the demoniac people and bring them to the war. So they were able to identify when they go on the road. You know, sometimes you go on the road and you see actually, oh, this person is actually someone. Sometimes you actually get that kind of feeling, oh, this person is not going to buy the book, or this person is not going to be a devotee. Something like that you feel. Although Lord actually has his own plans, but sometimes we have this mentality of judging people. This Jarasandha had this peculiar character of actually identifying who can become a demoniac soldier or a soldier for them, fight against the Supreme Lord. So he used to pull 20 Akshonis of people he brought, and Krishna and Balaram single-handedly actually wiped off everyone. None of the soldiers from their side actually were even hurt. That's what is mentioned. That means Krishna's arrows were so powerful that the opponent arrows never reached any of the soldiers, and the soldiers were just trying to fight, but by the time Krishna and Balaram finished them off. And Balaram actually captured Jarasandha, and he wanted to kill him, bind him. Krishna said, no, leave him, let him go. So Jarasandha became very angry, but he was very disappointed that he couldn't do anything. He went back thinking that I'm going to retire from all these things because I'm humiliated. But why did this Jarasandha become so angry? Because Jarasandha's son-in-law happens to be Kamsa. Kamsa married 2 daughters of Jarasandha, because of which he had a very close bondage. And in fact, Kamsa actually had, Jarasandha had promised Kamsa, if anybody actually kills you, I'll make sure that I'll kill them. So this kind of weird oath they take, and then that's why actually he wanted to actually kill Krishna, but he couldn't do it. And he created so big army and brought to attack Mathura. From all directions he attacked, and it so happened that he did this and went back to his own place. And when he went back to Jharkhand, he collected again 20 Akshonis of army across from the world. Wherever they were, they brought them. And like this, every time he came and attacked, maybe once in 6 months or something like that, and every time Krishna actually wiped off the army, leaving Jarasandha alone, because that's what it is, right? He appeared to reduce the burden of the world, right? That's why Krishna actually knew he will not go and find out who is there. He'll bring all of them together and one shot wipe it out. But in that, if there were people who were very sincere, they were devotees, but because of duty they were actually doing, Krishna would not harm them. So he killed all these demoniac soldiers. 17 times Jarasandha brought and Krishna killed them. But for the 18th time, something very weird happened. What happened was, there was this Yavana soldiers. It is mentioned, Prabhupada mentions that someone who doesn't follow the Vedic scriptures, Vedic lifestyle, or the instruction of being one of in the Varnashrama, one who does not follow this, is called either a Necha or a Yavana. Normally, Yavana is what actually is one who is very dirty and he doesn't actually follow any rules or anything. Such a person is actually called Yavana. And then there was this very powerful king by name Kala Yavan. So this Kala Yavan was a very powerful king, and he actually had brought 30 million Yavana soldiers along with him. because he happened to actually roam around the world to find who to fight with, because he had a boon from Lord Shiva. If he fights with anybody, half of their strength will come to him. So how will you actually really, the half of the opponent's strength would actually get transferred to Kalayavan. So how would you actually really fight with such a person? Because if you're going to fight, half of your power will go to that person, half your power plus his power. So definitely will not be able to win against such a person. And you can see that Krishna actually very cunningly or craftily actually tackled him. So he thought, okay, if this is going to happen, it's a lot of people, 30 million soldiers, plus 23 Aksonis Jarasandha also brought. So together they attacked Mathura at the same time. So Krishna actually told Balaram that this is going to be very tough this time. While he can actually just release the Sudarshana Chakra, but he was not doing that. He did whenever it's required to kill, but he wanted to prove that he's a supreme lord, he can fight. So he shifted the entire Mathura people into Dwaraka. So he built a fort inside the ocean so that no one can actually approach them. All the people were sleeping, they slept in Mathura, but when they woke up, they actually saw they were in Dwaraka. So the Krishna actually transferred everyone to a new place. And Krishna and Balaram came out, and he told Balaram, you actually tackle Jarasandha for now. I will actually go and then fight with Kalayavan. So he went to Kalayavan, and when he went, he didn't actually take the Krishna book says he didn't take any weapons. He just walked off because he didn't want to fight with Kalayavan. He went into the cave. The pastime is there about King Muchukunda. He actually was sleeping for a long time, for many years. He was sleeping, and when he woke up, just Kalayavan actually saw Krishna going into the cave. He went behind him, and when Krishna actually went and saw this Muchukunda was still sleeping, he disappeared from there. And when Kalayavan came, he saw Muchukunda sleeping, but unfortunately, Kalayavan thought that Krishna is actually lying down. He actually went and kicked him. And Muchukunda woke up, and then he had a boon that when he is untimely woken up, and if he sees that person will be burnt to ashes. So that boon was there with him. So he had just opened his eyes and said, who actually woke me up like this? And he saw Kalayavan, and Kalayavan was actually burnt to ashes. Then he actually calmed down, and then Krishna came out. So we can see that Krishna actually knew everything. He knows everything. He knows what is happening in this world and how to tackle situations. It's not that the Supreme Lord doesn't know. He's actually created a world which is actually completely uncontrolled. As some people say that God has no power over the situation. Some of these very wealthy people in the world actually are controlling the world and things like that. No, nothing is true like that, because Krishna actually is completely in control. And then the material nature, Maya Dakshina Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam, the material nature actually is controlling everything in this world, and Krishna is actually the one who is actually there, kind of a puppet doing everything. Now he did this, and he came back and killed all the Yavana soldiers. 30 million single-handedly killed. He didn't have an army. They were all waiting, and then after Kalayavan was killed, he came back and killed all the 30 million Yavana soldiers. And these soldiers actually had a lot of wealth, jewelry and pearls and things like that. Krishna sent everything to Dwaraka after killing all these people, right? So we can see that he did this, and then he went back to see what Balarama was doing. And this time Krishna told Balarama, don't kill any of the soldiers that are with Jarasandha, because these are not actually demoniac soldiers. They were very nice personalities, just that because they wanted to get some job, they were actually working for the demoniac king. So Krishna and Balaram did not fight, but instead they ran off. They ran off to the mountain, right, and then jumped off a mountain. While Jarasandha thought that Krishna is actually scared of his army, because 23 Aksonis is a lot to tackle. And he thought, okay, this time actually I'm going to win. And then they jumped off a cliff, and because Jarasandha actually ran behind them and called him Ranachot, saying that you are actually a cheat, right? You are a cheat. You're not able to face. You are a coward, basically, not a cheat. Sorry, you are a coward. That you are running away from a battle. If you are a Kshatriya, stand and fight with me. But Krishna did not heed it, because he didn't want to kill any of the soldiers. Because if he had to fight, then he had to actually kill some of the soldiers. So he ran away, and Jarasandha went inside Mathura, and then saw that no one was there. So he just left from that place. Then later on, Krishna actually took the help of Bhima and Arjuna, and then went and killed Jarasandha. So that this pastime is very important because Krishna does not kill anyone and everyone indiscriminately. He has his plan. For every one of us, he has a plan. Similarly, when he has to remove the whole burden of beast, he would know who actually is the burden of love, who is the burden of beast. He would actually only pick out those kind of people who are actually a burden for the whole earth. Right? Mother Earth doesn't like such people, so he will only tackle them in a different way. Right? So that's actually the purport of what you call this particular shloka, saying that okay, dahi dharmasya, that the Lord appears every time just to actually remove all this unwanted burden, which is going to cause a lot of problem for the whole world, right? He creates that and he comes and then destroys them. And Lord Chaitanya too appeared, but when Lord Chaitanya appeared, it's a very different condition. One of the acharyas actually mentions that Srimati Radharani went and spoke to Krishna, saying that whenever there are bad people or people who are demoniac, you always kill them. Can't you change them? Why do you have to actually kill them? You can actually tell properly what they need to do, and then because you are the Supreme Lord, you should be actually you should be able to change them. Krishna said, okay, I will try my best. I will give the Bhagavad Gita, right? Because as Rama, he did not do anything. He just killed. He didn't say anything. And Krishna was also doing that. He was killing one by one. Every demon came, he killed them. And here Radharani is asking, please do this. And Krishna did give the Bhagavad Gita for people so that they can surrender and become friendly to the Lord. But unfortunately, that was not working. And then no one took to heart of what Krishna is telling. So Lord Chaitanya appeared. Srimati Radharani decided, you will not be able to do it. If I become your heart, then that's possible. And that's why Lord Chaitanya is extremely compassionate, because Krishna alone cannot do this, to deliver demoniac personalities to become devotees. Here, Radharani is not going to kill anybody, but she, because Krishna's heart is Srimati Radharani, she is very merciful. Krishna is extremely merciful in the form of Lord Chaitanya, and he is delivering everyone simply by making them chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, whether you know it unknowingly or knowingly. Somehow or other, right? By enakena prakarena, somehow or other you chant Hare Krishna, no matter what it is. You're attentive or inattentive, just start whatever it is. So if you simply start as maybe a New Year resolution, or increase your rounds, because sometimes you actually have this confusion whether if you chant properly, only actually Krishna will look into it. No, not necessary, because Prabhupada actually time and again told, he even gave an example about a small child, baby, right? The baby would actually crawl and come and say, Dadu, do, that something, they'll blabber something and say, they're addressing the father. So father understands that child wants to actually come to me and he picks it up. It's not that you call me by proper name, daddy, only then I'll pick you up. No, not necessary. The love is actually there. So somehow or other we should actually chant the holy name of the Lord and present this information to others, because Lord Chaitanya wanted this. Srimati Radharani wanted the mercy of Krishna to actually go to everyone, so that all of us, all the world beings, right, although they are demoniac, they can become devotees of the Lord and become dear to the Lord. So those who are actually distributing books and preaching and trying to actually help others, inspire them to become Krishna's devotees somehow or other, even a little bit. If you give a prasadam a little bit also, that's actually great preaching, right? So when you do that, it's like we are part of Lord Chaitanya's army. Just like Lord Rama's army were all monkeys, right? So they were not all that Vedic Brahmanas then sitting and then they knew everything. They were monkeys. Obviously, monkeys' behavior is going to be monkeys. Although they are devotees of Rama, from a behavioral perspective, they were not actually Vedic Brahmanas that they actually followed all fantastic Vedic Vaishnava etiquette and say, Hare Krishna Prabhu. No, they will be monkeys only, but they gave their life for Rama. Rama was very, very happy. In fact, because of their attitude of serving Lord Rama blessed them immensely, saying that thank you so much for being a part of my army, and he was indebted to all of them, very grateful to the monkeys. And in fact, one story actually comes to my mind, that after the war, the whole Ravana's war, the whole Ravana was killed. Lord Rama came back to Ayodhya, And all of them actually were surprised that Rama and Lakshmana could just go with the monkeys and then kill such a powerful personality. They were very impressed with the way they did. And they were more impressed than that with the monkeys. That means the monkeys were able to understand Lord Ram's request, and then they served Lord Ram like that. So all of them, Mother Kaushalya and all of them said to Ram, please we get all these monkeys. We want to actually see them because we want to see how did they actually really help you. So Lord Ram actually saw Hanuman and said, you think you can get all the monkeys here? Hanuman was very, very scared because monkeys, their behavior is something very difficult to, very, very difficult to actually understand. They are very mischievous. They will not understand anything properly. So Hanuman said, okay, my lord, I will take care. So Hanuman actually goes to all the monkeys and then says, we are going to sit with Lord Ram and then we're going to have food, lunch with them. So, and all the monkeys said, Hari Bol, okay, whatever, Rama Bol, right? So they dance like anything. They were so happy that we are going to actually see my Lord again, because they had given their heart to the Lord. But Hanuman said there's one caution, but because this is going to be organized with the palace personalities and they're in palace, all of them are very formal. I want all of you to behave properly. You should not be like your monkey. Don't have your monkey mischievous nature. When you actually come and see, you should be formally eating. So all the monkeys saw one another. This seems to be very difficult. Okay, Hanuman, you actually are very friendly to Ram. You know what pleases Ram so much. Your heart is full of Ram's consciousness. So you tell us how we should do what we should do, we'll do it. So they were all brought outside Ayodhya. There was a huge ground made, whatever it is. All these monkeys, there's a huge number. All of them are made to sit in a row. And the monkeys apparently like chickpeas a lot. So they were served chickpeas. So they were given this chickpeas and they were kept in a pile of chickpeas for each one of them in front of them in a leaf. And Hanuman sat on a platform and he also had chickpeas. And all the monkeys were just waiting. What is Hanuman going to do? So they were all looking at Hanuman. Hanuman said, okay, you all have to follow just what I do. Others said, okay. So Hanuman actually picked up one chickpea. And chickpeas, normally the skin is not supposed to be eaten. So what Hanuman did was actually he was folding it. And then unfortunately, this one chickpea, when he was folding it, it jumped up. It jumped up because when you actually press on the skin stays, and then the what you call the pulp, what you call the seed, actually goes up. So Hanuman, looking at that, immediately thought, okay, if it falls, actually the prasad will get wasted. He jumped up and then got hold of it, and then said, all the monkeys saw that, wow, this is amazing. But this is how we are supposed to eat this chickpea. This is so much fun. And all of them said, they started doing like this, jump and eat. Do it, jump and eat. So all of them are jumping up and down, up and down. So on the terrace, on the balcony, Lord Ram came out and said, what is happening? So he saw that Hanuman was actually sitting on a platform, and then said, Rama saw that you monkeys actually have a very amazing way of eating food. I like it. It's so much fun to watch all these things. And all the monkeys are going up and down, up and down. And Hanuman was actually eating like, oh man, the whole thing what I was planning to do actually was completely, it was a big failure. But Lord Ram appreciated them because they were wholeheartedly, seriously trying to serve Ram and please him, right? So similarly, whatever possible service we can do, we should actually do it, right? And then the blessings will come automatically, and we'll make progress, because it's not because of our endeavor actually we progress in Krishna consciousness, because of Guru and Krishna's mercy. When they see that sincerely we are actually endeavoring and trying to make progress, the endeavor is what actually they look at, not actually the result, because the result is left to the Lord. Karmani vadhikarasya ma phalesh kadarshana. We have a right to do our duty, but we are not entitled to the result. The result the Lord will give, whatever it is. So there's no failure or success in the material life. And even in the spiritual life for that matter, there's no failure or success. Krishna is ultimately going to win. It's just like it is mentioned, we'll see that every Leela of the Lord comes as Vamana Deva, Lord comes as Varaha Dev, or Lord comes as Narsinga Dev. You'll never find in any of these pastimes that Lord has actually been defeated. He has a plan. He will 100% succeed for sure. And as Lord Chaitanya, he wants to deliver all the conditioned souls. That is his desire. That is his mood. That is his leela, that he wants to come and then deliver all the fallen conditioned souls. So The guarantee that he's going to succeed is there. But how do we be part of his plan is the question. If we are part of the Sankirtan army, we are going to get delivered automatically. Just that we have to be part of his Sankirtan army. So that preaching, whatever way is distribute Prabhupada's books, inspire a few people to chant Hare Krishna, or whatever you can in service of Krishna, inspire them. That means you stay in the what do you call, in the process all through your life. That's actually the only requirement. Because if you're part of the Sankirtan army, Lord Chaitanya is going to actually serve, deliver us for sure. So that's the same thing actually even Brahmaji actually mentions in the shloka Tatenu Kampam Samikshamano, the shloka in the 10th canto. He says if somebody is just duty bound serving Krishna, and then even though there are so much of difficulties in life, they just tolerate it and continue without actually becoming angry or disappointed or depressed, just continue with whatever situation we are in, taking it as Krishna's mercy and continue life. Then just like a son inherits the father's property, and the spiritual world becomes your property. In the sense, you go back to the spiritual world. Krishna actually blesses the person to be part of the spiritual world, right? So that option is there, that opportunity is there for us. But are we ready is the question, right? Because many a times we know all these things, but we don't actually, we get demotivated because I'm not able to do the way other devotees are doing. Maybe they're actually blessed by the Lord, or their endeavor is better. It's not a one lifetime endeavor to go back to God, it's a multi-lifetime endeavor. But Prabhupada actually gave us this shortcut saying that, okay, please come. Because of Prabhupada's mercy, there's high chance that we can go back to God in one lifetime. But otherwise, normally it takes multi-lifetime because we still have so much of material desires, so much of what you call enjoyment tendency that we want to enjoy independent of Krishna. We don't have, when whatever we see in the world, we always see what is in it for me, can it satisfy me? We are not still in the mode, at least I think I'm not in that mode, to whatever I see that I want to serve this, engage this in Krishna service. Whatever I see, can I see, even if I go and see some food stuff or some vegetable, can I prepare something for Krishna's pleasure? That attitude comes, then actually we are very close to going back to God. Otherwise, we are still having the material tendency to enjoy this world. And as long as we have this tendency of enjoying this world, it's very difficult to go back to God, because Krishna will give us another opportunity for us to enjoy whatever it is that is there. Now, if we follow the spiritual master's instructions, Prabhupada's instructions of distributing books and being in the part of Sankirtan army, so slowly what happens is we get used, or we get completely conditioned in the way of actually distributing books or giving this knowledge to others. Although we may not be pure, it's just like sometimes some other devotees actually give an example about in India, at least, there used to be the doctors having a compounder. The olden days, actually, they had this medicine actually in liquid form. They need to actually mix a few chemicals together and give the right quantity of medicine for the patient. So they were called as compounder because the compounds were actually mixed together. So these doctors used to actually have compounders. The compounder would actually, the compounder will actually mix and give, but he will not be able to recognize what is actually the real disease. The doctor is the one who has to really give the right composition. Similarly, Manishwara Prabhupada, our spiritual masters are actually empowered to actually deliver others. But we can be a compounder, give the medicine that they already brought it, right? H G Kripamaya Gauranga. Lord Chaitanya has already brought this medicine to us, the Harinam. So if you can give that Harinam, it will work. Whatever is required, it will work. Somebody needs more, Harinam can actually connect automatically. It corrects itself, whatever is required, and then the person, the exact amount of treatment, what is required for them to get out of the material cycle of birth and death, that happens automatically. So that's a very interesting thing that the Harinam actually has. Harinam can, because Harinam is Krishna himself. So he knows what is our weaknesses, what is our strengths, everything he knows. So if we simply actually endeavor that this life, I should actually do something for the Lord. End of life, I should actually think about what did I actually do for the Lord in this lifetime. If you can actually create a lifestyle of living in such a manner, then that's a good resolution. That's a good resolution to actually have, because every year we actually have New Year goals, right? set up a goal in such a way that you don't have to set up another goal, right? Because going back to God means you don't need any other goal. So if you can actually set some goals like I want to please Krishna, this year I need to actually do something more than what I did for the Lord. Maybe I am not become pure devotee, but that's okay. But at least I will have a satisfaction that I distributed 2 books of Prabhupada, and then whether they went back to God and they read the books. No, that's not actually the question. But did they do something for the Lord? Just like the monkeys, right? The monkeys were actually trying to do everything and anything to serve Lord Ram, because victory was in Ram's hand. The monkeys could never face any of Ravana's army. But because Hanuman and Lord Rama, all of them were there, the monkeys were successful in the whole endeavor, right? So if we actually think in that fashion, that Krishna anyway is going to win, Lord Chaitanya is anyway going to win, Sankirtan army is going to be victorious. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. That's a fact actually. You don't have to actually do an R&D to understand, okay, will it work or not? No, it will work 100%. Can I do something in the army? Can I be part of the army? Okay, army is big. I can't do anything. Can I at least serve them some juice or some water? And then the devotee is actually going and then distributing books. Can I give some donations? Or if not, at least can I give them some contact? Or I can just cook and feed these devotees. All these things are very important, very, very important in the service of the Lord. Whatever we can do, we should actually try to do. And then even though we are not pure devotees yet, and we still remain monkeys in our life, it doesn't matter. Because Lord Ram or Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would actually accept us as we are. Only thing is, sincerity is very important. We have to be sincerely endeavoring that I want to please Guru, I want to please Krishna. Whether I succeed or not, that's actually material, but at least I should endeavor for that. If you do that, then that's actually a glorious way of living in this life, right? I'll stop here and take a couple of questions. I think I had 45 minutes time, so I think I've taken almost something. I'll take a few minutes of the time, and then if there are any questions anybody has, or anybody wants to actually speak something, Shal Prabhu or Pratap Prabhu.
Thank you very much for your kind and very inspiring session, Prabhu. And it is also very important that the pastimes are so much connected and interlinked with the real essence of what we need to practice and follow it up. And really appreciate what your presentation is about. But in the meantime, as devotees may have some questions, definitely, if they do have, it's great. So I have a question basically in relation to that, as you said, that it's a good to have a goal. And since we all have a goal that we go back to God, so we don't need to have another goal. That's a great aesthetic element of understanding that how we can fulfill the current goal which we already have in place. So it is not so easy for normal persons of our nature, because we have many things to do in our house. We have many responsibility to take care as grihasthas. But however, there are possibilities that we can, as you said, that we can support the Sankirtan devotees, we can support those who are doing book distribution or food for all and whatever. I have a thought that what you feel is the best option for us being householders, maybe 1 or 2 good points that we follow it for the whole year and see that that's something which we can actually be a success. If we can be a success with this pattern, what 2 points would you think that we should follow?
Okay, so for the grihasthas, because they don't have the time like the brahmacharis, because for the brahmacharis they don't have anything else apart from serving Guru. But as grihasthas, we have few other things that we have to do. Some of those things may not be fully Krishna conscious, or at least they may not be fully directly into the Sankirtan movement. However, we can be an example itself. On our own, we can be an example. Our lifestyle can be an example. At least we can actually say, okay, am I reading Prabhupada's books? Prabhupada is asking us to read his books. Can I actually at least read 1 shloka a day? Can I actually at least give some time, maybe right after I brush my teeth? Because once you touch the newspaper or you open your WhatsApp, your world changes. So can I at least read one shloka every day, either from Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam? Can I make it a habit of reading Srila Prabhupada books? That is something that we can definitely find some time. I don't think as Grastas we don't have much time. We do have time. It's just that our mind becomes so much clogged in so many other activities that we find we don't have time to go out, go to the temple or do preaching program. I'm not qualified to preach. We do all these things. So we can definitely actually say, I'm going to actually read one shloka of Bhagavad Gita every day, either in the morning or in the evening. Best is morning because everyone has to brush his teeth, hopefully. We brush our teeth and then right after brushing the teeth, we could actually take a few minutes and read Bhagavatam or one shloka of Bhagavatam with the purpose. And then say after that what you want to do, either you go and take a bath and then chant, whatever it is, right? So we could definitely add one thing like that. And second thing I would say that definitely chanting is something we cannot compromise on. We need actually that, that's very, very important. Because for us to get out of this disease, we need to actually have the medicine and we need to have the diet. The medicine is actually the holy name, chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, and the diet is actually the prasadam. Can I cut down some of these food that I eat outside? Can I do some modification, little? Don't make too much of modification. If you're not able to, your life is such that only you are alone in the family, you are trying to become a devotee, you may not have so much of support. So change little bit and your behavior of what you're reading from Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, when you read Prabhupada books and try to implement that in your life without actually disturbing others directly. That would something that what I would say we can definitely do. It's not actually that difficult at all. So do something which actually is very easy, because if your resolution is very difficult to do, it will fail in 1 month. And second month you say it's just like going to a gym. Every time you plan, okay, I'm going to go to gym. I want to actually have a six-pack and things like that. No packs comes actually. Only family pack stays, right? So it's become very difficult. And then all the yoga and everything we start for some time, then we don't get the kick, right? But here, can I at least form 3 or 4 devotees and say we should go and distribute books? Alone you cannot get that. But once you are with the devotees, then it's a different thing. Getting out of house is actually a humongous task for us, because Maya Devi tries hard to hold you back from devotees, because if you go with the devotees, guaranteed that you will actually be victorious. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Sankirtanam and Kirtanam are different. Kirtanam means glorification. Sankirtanam means Kirtanam with the devotees. Sangha, together. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Only in Sankirtanam we can be victorious. Alone, very, very difficult to actually be victorious. Only Prabhupada can be victorious, or our gurus can be victorious like that, standing alone and changing the world. All of us, it's very difficult to be alone and chant for long and still be actually making progress. It's very difficult. So Sankirtanam, somehow we should come together. Someday, hopefully things happen. And then that can be done. So at least once in a week, can I give? I remember my brother used to tell me early days, like Sundays is for the Lord. Monday to Saturday for the family. Sunday, I'm going to actually be with the temple, because those days we are very young that time. So we could actually really deprioritize everything else and then be in the temple, or at least with the association of devotees, and do some seva all day. And he used to do this. And then I somehow picked up that it's nice actually, at least once in a week, full day, let's actually give something. At least think about the Lord for the full day. You not actually get out of the house, but at least think, what can I do? There are great preachers in your group, so you can talk to them and see, well, how can I help? What can I do that it doesn't disturb my present condition of living, but still actually contribute in a value, can add value to the whole preaching mission, right? Something like that you can try. Don't derail situation so much. That's what I'm thinking right now.
Sure, thank you. That's great. One just add on. Nowadays, you get a lot of audio files, basically like e-book or audio books. So I'm just thinking loud, what if I'm not able to practically sit and study Prabhupada book in a physical format? So is it considered that if I hear an audio file of, say, Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, because Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam or any other books have been now already made audio files, is it equal to that?
Yeah, I mean, see, in the sitting and studying in a group, it's a different feeling altogether, because you'll actually get.
No, I'm asking about, like, I have an audio file. Let's say that I don't get time to sit and physically read a book, but I'm hearing an audio file of the same Bhagavad Gita narration by Purana Chandra Goswami or someone else. So
you
then,
can hear.
is it valid as good as can be considered?
Yes, yes. In all forms, actually, what do you call, hearing from somebody in book format is Prabhupada's. If you can hear of the same material, as an audio, it's perfectly fine. But just so you need to focus because our mind is used to going into a conditioning. Yeah, it gets conditioned after some time, just like the whistle of a cooker, right? So we have the cookers in India, and so when the whistle comes, you get used to that sound. Then no longer it disturbs. Just like if you're staying close to the train station, the sound that actually comes from the train, right? So it doesn't actually disturb you any longer. In the beginning, you get so that's the reason Srila Prabhupada always used to ask the devotees to sit and read together, because when you're sitting and reading, there are many things. All the senses are engaged. Your eyes are engaged. We are watching the words. Your hands are engaged, right? Because you have to hold the book, at least the pages and things like that, and then you have to read out, and so that your mouth is engaged and ears also is actually engaged. So multiple senses, even one sense is not working or focused, somewhere actually the nectar goes in. In hearing, it's only the ear, and if the mind switches off, ears might be actually getting the information. So there is actually a joke. They say "Iskan se suno, Iskan se chodo," like that, right? Iskan. That is why it's called Iskan, right? They actually have a joke actually. The sound is going inside, but no one is actually getting the transformation, right? So no harm, but only thing you should be focused at least for half an hour.
Okay, right. Thank you. And great. So, anyone else have any questions? We'll wait for a few minutes. Sunita Mataji, yes, you can ask.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for a wonderful class. Although I managed to join very late, and I have a question about book distribution.
Mm-hmm.
When we distribute books, like most of the people, they offer donation or money. Like they say, "Can I give you something?" But what about the when you get the wives, they're not gonna give money, or like sometimes I feel I don't want to ask for donations. So how do we deal with those situations?
Okay, it's a good question. Maybe Amala Mataji, Pratapmaya Prabhu, Vishal Prabhu, they all actually do a lot of book distribution in the West. But I'll give you example from what happens in India, right? So here we don't ask for donation, we ask for the price directly. So many a times we come across situations wherein they say we ask for 200 rupees, Indian rupees, for a Bhagavad Gita hardbound. So they say we don't have so much of money. If you see them, they are genuinely actually poor and they are interested to read Bhagavad Gita, we do give them a discount. Otherwise, I would always tell them, like, you can give whenever possible, whenever you get some money, you please give it to Krishna in some form or other. Otherwise, Krishna will collect it from you for sure. They get scared. They don't want to deal with Krishna, right? Because Krishna knows how to collect the money from them, and they really have money. They will have to actually pay. Otherwise, Krishna will make them pay through their nose, right? They'll get scared. They'll give the 200 rupees because in your place, you can see what works. Actually, talk to these devotees who are very good book distributors. How do they work? I mean, you can always say, please give whenever possible to God, because if you don't do that, God will actually collect money from you. People get scared of that word. That particular sentence is very, very loaded for them because they don't want to play with God. They know that He's very powerful and He can actually take in the money back in many ways. Right? But I don't know. Maybe Pratapmaya Prabhu or Malamasi Vishal can actually give.
Pratapmaya Prabhu does a lot of books, and I'm sure that he has his good inputs in terms of taking donations. Most of the time, he gives from his pocket. That's normal, but nevertheless.
Yeah, I mean, I would say just don't actually give donation without actually making an impact on their lives. Bring in the concept aspect of God being involved. Because of God's mercy, you're getting this donation, but whenever you get the money back, please give it back to God. Then they'll feel the aspect. So that means because of His mercy, I'm getting this. So bring in that aspect, yeah.
So, like, I just heard you saying, like, first time, like I heard this saying, like you price the book, like you say, this is how, like it's like a kind of selling a book.
Well, I will want to answer this basically because the way in which India works is completely different. They go based,
that's fine. Because
but
we
not
can't
not in UK or in US. US we actually solicit for a donation, and we actually ask them as a donation because we know that sometimes if we are a student, I'm sure that most of the students don't have that much of enough.
Yeah, Prabhuji,
distribution.
and I have a lot of people like giving me like 20 pounds for like a little Bhagavad Gita. Then, so when I say it's up to you, you know, how much you're gonna get, it's just gonna go towards the book printing and all that.
Sure.
So rather than asking them how much, then they end up giving more as well.
Yeah.
It's just
That's,
like I was
that's
really
the advantage
struggling.
of having a book distribution in the West. Is a different story altogether.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah,
you can touch base. You can touch base with any of the book-related questions with Pratapmaya Prabhu. Pratapmaya Nitai Prabhu is here, and you can touch base with him because he is a very good book distributor, and he's been constantly distributing for the past 5-6 years, and
yeah.
then he knows the details about it. Okay, thank you,
Yeah,
thank you, Mother.
it's called book distribution basically because Krishna sells the book. He only distribute it because Krishna chooses the person and that person comes to you and you distribute the book. Krishna has already sold that book. That's actually real understanding. That's why it's called book distribution and not book selling.
Yeah, we don't sell the book basically. We are not salespeople. We are just yoga practitioners. So fundamentally, we are just sharing that yoga thoughts of how we can actually share that thought of being a bhakti yogi. That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else has any questions?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Okay, great. So if that's the case, I would want to, on behalf of all of us here, thank you for your time and giving us the opportunity to hear a few very interesting pastimes, especially the Jarathanda pastime, which is connected with the 2 or 3 pastimes in the Krishna book, like jumping out of the mountain cliff of Raivataka mountains and then becoming a Ranchor, where there is a temple of Ranchor in Gujarat. And then, coming from Mathura to Dwarka, how the Lord transported everyone. And it's very interesting. Yeah, connecting all this into different jigsaw puzzles, it gives a lot of impetus to understand how deep Krishna's pastimes are and how much deeper we need to sit and understand the Srimad Bhagavatam more and more in a very lighter fashion, because that helps us to realize that what we have learned is extremely just less than a handful. But the more we read, more we understand, more we study Srila Prabhupada books, we'll come to a very proper understanding of what Krishna wants us. Thank you again, Prabhu. Thank you for joining us. And over to you, Pratapmaya Prabhu, for the rest bit of questions and answers, if there is anything which you want to. Thank you, Kripamaya Prabhu. With everyone else, just requesting a big Haribol to you and to all the devotees of Bangalore. Haribol.
Thank you very much.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. His Grace Kripamaya Gauranga Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Haribo.
Okay, Manjusha Mataji, can you focus on Pratapmaya Prabhu?
Prabhu, Amala Machi is going to be doing the announcements today.
Oh, excellent. So please focus on Amala. There you go.
Hare Krishna, Jai Jagannath. Thank you, Kripamaya Prabhu. I think it is just Krishna's mercy, at the right time. And today, New Year, giving us the right consciousness, how we should approach the New Year. That was really nice. Thank you so much. Thank you. It was amazing. So many points for me to personally take. I think it will definitely change my spiritual life, what I've heard from you today. Thank you. So, yes, devotees, thank you for joining. So nice to see many devotees coming together, glorifying the Lord, hearing the pastimes of the Lord. So, just a couple of things, like we always start new courses. So, like some courses are not advertised in the public groups because they're quite specific. So if you're not connected to, you're not attending any programs now, and if you would like to join any of the courses, so please contact the devotee whom you're in touch with. And there is a lot of services also that can be done. There's a lot of services like this Mangalarti, many of you do the Arti, many singing. So there's always opportunity to progress in our spiritual life, always, and it is ever fresh. Every day is a new life. So please be in touch with the devotees whom you are connected to, your leaders, with some programs that you attended to them, so that you can come to the next level. There are courses starting. 10-day Shraddhavan course is starting this week. There are so many batches and different links. So it has not gone in the public, so if you would like to, you can either message Bharti Mataji, me, or Pratap Prabhu, Sija Mataji, whoever you are connected to. If you have not registered already, please connect to us and then you can join the corresponding batch. So thank you so much. And Mangalarti is nice. And in like how Kripamaya Prabhu inspired us, this year we can focus on giving also. I chant one round and I tell others, okay, this chanting is so nice, please chant one round. Then the same way I attend morning program. It's really nice. You just have to attend. No, you don't, even if you don't do anything, you just can watch and feel the temple atmosphere in your house. So please invite others to join. And that is pleasing to Krishna. And that's very pleasing to Krishna. So there are many opportunities to be closer to Krishna. Let us use those opportunities. And if we just think that Krishna, I want to please you, and Krishna gives us opportunities more and more, Krishna gives us the intelligence how to do it. So the main thing is to have a desire. Like how Sakshi, last week we discussed about gifting books to whomever we know. And then the next day Sakshi messaged saying, okay, I decided to all whom I know, I'm going to give Bhagavad Gita for New Year. And Krishna arranged in such a way that next day morning she had 22 Bhagavad Gitas and she already started wrapping and sending along with the New Year card and everything. So, 22 books, and it's not difficult, and 22 lives are changed, or families. We don't know how many people's lives are touched. So like that, there are enough opportunities to serve Krishna. And sometimes we have the stereotyped ideas that only if I do like this, I'm going to do. No, there are so many things, like how Kripamaya Prabhu was explaining, helping someone, helping a devotee do something. So many opportunities are there. So we pray to Krishna, please guide me. And then Krishna just guides us with so much intelligence, spiritual intelligence. Krishna give Dadami Buddhi Yogam. No? So we just have to desire and pray. So thank you, Sakshi, for your that blissful service of giving this Bhagavad Gita to many devotees. Thank you. And if anyone like to do some service like that, it could be in book distribution, it could be, but many other services are there, including stitching dresses for Jagannath and putting sequences. So many things are there. There's enough opportunities to serve Krishna. So please get in touch with the devotee and just say that, okay, I would like to do some service. What service can I do for Krishna this year? Okay, so thank you so much. So we'll see you all again soon. Hare Krishna.